Greetings, friends. Prepare for another thrilling journey as we delve into Reddit's most bizarre tales. We're plunging deep into the quirkiest corners of the web. Grab your popcorn and join us on this adventure. Remember to hit subscribe and like. Let's begin. At the beginning, our relationship felt perfect. We were deeply in love, as much as I thought two people could be. I was 18, and she was my first kiss, my first love, my first everything. Now she's about to be my first ex. The first crack appeared just 2 weeks after we started seeing each other. She was still in a relationship when she kissed me, a red flag I probably should have paid more attention to. She had deep-seated self-esteem issues and ended up kissing another guy in the work parking lot shortly after we got together. I forgave her since we weren't officially dating and I was really into her. Her mother even warned us not to rush into a relationship because she was fresh out of a toxic situation with her sexually abusive ex. A few months later, we started college together, August 2013. She came with me to an in-state college, but she had lost all her friends by not staying in touch with anyone. I began making new friends and even planned a guy's weekend. But she made me feel guilty, saying she had no one to keep her company while I was gone. I canceled the trip and never planned another one. In junior year, August 2015, she met a guy. They were texting constantly, and she would hide her phone when she was around me. One night, she let him stay in her room because he had nowhere else to stay on campus. I was gaslit into believing nothing happened between them, even though he could have easily stayed with a friend who had invited him. We took a break for a couple of weeks, and although I'm almost certain something happened, I chose to let it go. After all, she was my first everything. She struggled throughout college, and I was there to support her, helping with nearly every course she took. She constantly complained and struggled with everything, lacking any sense of independence. She didn't want independence. Whenever I hung out with my friends on Thirsty Thursday, she was always there, never off with any friends of her own. She even showed a picture of this guy to my friends, and they reassured me there was nothing to worry about. Fast forward to January 2018. We were lying in her bed while her parents were away, thinking we were being sneaky, though I'm sure her parents knew. We were looking at pictures on her phone when an image of that guy popped up, of them ice skating together. That was our thing, but she assured me he was just a friend and nothing happened. After an argument, I let it go, telling myself that the past was the past. I had already bought her an engagement ring and was sure I wanted to marry her. During 2018 to 2019, we were deep into wedding planning. We struggled to agree on the guest list. I wanted a small, intimate wedding with about 40 people, but she wanted to invite her entire extended family. We compromised on 80 guests, which meant leaving out some of my family friends. Her dad wanted to invite 2 friends, Bob and Barb, but we had agreed they wouldn't be on the guest list. However, after we said our vows, the first thing I noticed was Bob and Barb sitting in the back. But as usual, I let it go. In July 2019, we bought a house that was too big for just the two of us. But we were planning to start a family. From then on, we became more like roommates than partners. I still loved her, but I didn't know how to show it. I think we were both depressed and lost in our lives. She relied on me for everything, always tagging along with my friends because she had none of her own. Whenever I didn't want to do something, she would accuse me of never wanting to spend time with her. I had encouraged her for years to reconnect with her old friends, Tiffany, Katie, Reagan, but she insisted they wanted nothing to do with her. Then 2020 hit, COVID, our first wedding anniversary. We did nothing, staying inside most of the time because I was high risk due to the medications I was on. She never let me forget it. It was always, "We can't do anything because you're sick. I do this for you." She constantly used it against me to make herself seem indispensable. I praised her for her willingness to stay inside, but hearing about other couples in similar situations, it seemed like their spouses were happy to make those sacrifices out of love. That's what love is supposed to be. And then everything fell apart. I doubt anyone has read this far. February 2023. I'm in the hospital with an abscess, requiring emergency surgery. My blood pressure is dangerously low, and I'm not even sure I'll make it out alive. She stayed by my side almost the entire week, though she wasn't there that morning. She arrived just as I was being wheeled into surgery, so at least I got to see her. Throughout that week, she kept me company, comforting me through the pain, and for that, I'm grateful. The months of recovery that followed were tough, but she was there to help me through them. March 2023. I'm still recovering. Our beloved cat, Zelda, who I affectionately called Onion, develops a fluid-filled sac in her abdomen. We love that cat more than anything. She was our baby. Despite our efforts to save her, after about 4 weeks, we took her to the vet, only to find out her blood cells were bursting. There was nothing we could do. I still remember the moment when her mom took the carrier out of the room and Zelda, thinking she was going home, looked back at us. That memory still breaks me. I could write endlessly about her, but all I really want to say is, I love you, Onion. April 2023. I'm finally starting to recover. My friend's bachelor party is coming up, and despite the fact that we had just gotten a new kitten, I agree to join the guys for a weekend getaway. Strangely, my wife decides this is the perfect time to go on a trip with her friend Katie. I push back against the idea, but eventually, I agree, deciding I can drive back and forth 30 minutes each morning and night to care for the kitten. She had offered to drive 3 hours back, which should have been a red flag, but I told her to go enjoy her weekend. We'd have just turned on location sharing, so after a few hours of her leaving, I checked to see how close she was to her destination. She was only 40 minutes away, near the airport where we went to college. I figured she must have picked up one of Katie's friends from school. May 2023. We take what I believe to be the best vacation we've ever had, a cruise from Seattle up through Alaska. This trip makes me realize what I've been missing in our relationship. I want that closeness, that connection, every day. I suggest we go to counseling together, hoping to preserve what we have. She gets upset, claiming she's had the same idea for a long time, but was too scared to bring it up. I think, great, we're on the same page, but she pushes back hard before finally agreeing. Later in May, she goes on another trip with Katie. I think it's great that she and Katie are becoming such good friends. I don't think much of it, but then she turns off her location sharing, blaming it on a glitch. She tells me they're going to a wedding on Memorial Day Sunday. June 2023. She tells me she's going to a life celebration ceremony for her late aunt. Once again, her location sharing is off, but she sends pictures of herself with her cousins, so I'm sure she's with them. The internet goes out while she's away, and I work hard to get it back up and running before she returns. She loves her video games, and I want to have everything ready for her. I even built her a standing desk. I'm excited to surprise her. I log into her computer to check on things, and Discord pops up. You can guess the rest. She's been talking to this guy for months, discussing the things they did that weekend, trashing me in the process. She said I'm a terrible person, that my attempts at saving our relationship are just last-ditch efforts, that I don't care about her at all. I'm devastated. I call her and ask to talk to Katie, who she claimed she was driving home with. But I know she's not there. My wife starts crying on the phone, saying she's going to crash her car. I talk her through it, staying on the line the entire way home because I still care about her. We had couples therapy scheduled for later that day, and I wanted to discuss everything. But she slept the entire night while I sat there, wide awake, with 0 hours of sleep. July 2023, weeks after the forced confession. I think things are getting better, but she's still hiding everything. She hides her phone, turns the screen away when I walk in, and yells at me for invading her privacy. I tell myself I need to trust her if this is going to work. But it's not enough. One day, I go to the bedroom to read a book while she plays video games because I'm feeling anxious. I think I hear her say his name, but she gaslights me into believing I'm crazy, that it didn't happen. I believe her, thinking it's just my anxiety playing tricks on me. She used to play Valorant with this guy, but I convinced myself she wouldn't be playing with him now. To my surprise, she's not. But I dig deeper. Her friends all stream on Twitch, so I start watching their streams. I find out she's convinced her friends to call this guy by a completely different name, and they all agree. I cry again, more than I ever have in my entire life. Late July 2023. She's moving out, or so she says. But I check Valorant, and there it is. She's still playing with him. She tells me her account must have been hacked, that someone else is playing in her name. Why do I believe her? Did she even move out? Of course not. She lies about it for weeks until I finally call one of her friends, who spills the truth. Cue more screaming and crying. 2 weeks later, she claims he's moved out. August to September. She gets a tattoo, and the lies keep coming. She swears she's cut off communication with him, but I'm not so sure. October. Another tattoo. Something feels off, so I check his Twitter. The shop looks eerily familiar. When I confront her, she gaslights me into believing it's not the same place and invites me over to her apartment, trying to smooth things over with physical affection. October to December. I ignore the warning signs. She's still on Discord, despite claiming she deleted it. She insists she's only talking to a friend from that group, and somehow I believe her. By now, I've asked her to move back in 2 or 3 times. I stop obsessing over his Twitter and Valorant, convincing myself she's changed. January 2024, I suggest couples counseling again. A few weeks later, she lies to my face. She's been talking to him all along. I dig deeper and find out they went to a Halloween party together, dressed as a chicken and the KFC guy. They even spent Christmas together. February 2024. The couple's counselor tells her she needs to make a choice. This won't work if she keeps talking to him. Somehow, I still believe her, even after she's lied through several sessions and for the entire past year. February to May 2024. She still won't move back in. By this point, I've been through almost a year of counseling alone. My friends have been telling me to leave her for ages. I finally start to see things their way. June 2024. I file for divorce. And just like that, she suddenly wants to move back in. This is the day she's decided to tell me she's ready. But no, I'm done. She had her chance. She had 100 chances over the past year. From that point on, she bombards me with texts, claiming she's changed. Drunk texts, desperate messages. I tell her to stop. I want nothing more to do with her. Then comes one final drunk text, and I snap. She turns it against me, telling her friends and family that this is how I always treat her.